Hello and welcome to Legally Speaking with me, Tarun Nangia. The Bar Council of India has earmarked 500 law colleges as substandard institutes. Of course, this was done after a thorough study. And what will happen to these colleges? Why such a study was done? What are the cases linked to this issue? We will discuss all of this today because students and students' parents put in their hard-earned money into these colleges in the hope that their children will get jobs at plum salaries, and the reality is far from the, in a sense, professed ads or whatever news that comes out about these colleges. When they are finally passing out, we know what bad situation most of the students are in, and that is why we needed to give this reality check today. May I introduce you my panel today? I have with me Justice Iqbal Ansari, sir, served as Chief Justice of the Patna High Court. Good to see you again, sir, on the show, and looking forward to some interesting intervention from you. I have with me Senior Advocate Geeta Luthra joining me. Welcome, ma'am, on the show, and looking forward to some good interventions. I have with me Murari Tiwari, advocate. He's member Bar Council of Delhi. He'll get in the Bar Council perspective for us, which is very important. I have with me Sudhir Mishra, managing partner of Trust Legal, one of India's leading law firms. Good to see you, Mr. Mishra. May I request at the outset, Mr. Murari Tiwari, who's advocate and also member Bar Council of Delhi, in about next 2.5 to 3 minutes, if you could explain the whole issue to us for the benefit of the whole legal fraternity and the lakhs and lakhs of students who aspire to be lawyers.
Tarun, as you know that the jobs in legal areas and in law firms have increased in many fold. Even the vacancies for judicial services have also been increased in many folds. So because of that, there is a rise in the demand of law graduation degrees, and everybody is aspiring to be a law graduate. And because of that, even the private sector educationists, they also started investing a lot of money in law colleges. And whenever they made an application before the Bar Council, so they projected the picture that they have acquired every facility, good library, good faculty, good teachers, expert in their subjects at the time of getting recognition or affiliation by Bar Council. But subsequently, what Bar Council found that they are not maintaining their standard. I do not know why, for what reasons they are not even maintaining their proper library. Teachers they appoint who are not adequate in their qualification. Even simple postgraduate teachers are being appointed by them who are not even aware about the proper subject. And, you know, they maintain registers where they get signature of like PhD holders and very educated faculty. The actual realities of payment in salary is also entirely different. So these inspections were required. Similarly, a situation arose in 2009 when Bar Council of India started All India Bar Examination, because we noticed that the students are not being taught properly. So that is why this examination was introduced, so that the lawyer who will clear that examination, only he will have a practice, the right to practice at bar. That was the necessity. You know, I have been in Bar Council for last 20 years, and more particularly in enrollment committee where we grant license to lawyers. And I noticed that when I ask a student that tell me one section of any act, you know, the answer sometimes is in negative. So these inspections, these reactions of the law students compelled us, you know, to make necessary inspections. Then we realized that in actual, the law colleges are not teaching the students properly. That is why these 500 law colleges have been earmarked and their license is going to be cancelled. But we have to look into the career of the students who are already studying there and their education is on. So we have to look into many aspects. But it is very necessary, because you must have noticed, like in Chaudhry Charan Singh University, you must have noticed more than 100 colleges are there. They are not maintaining adequate facilities. So on one way, there is a demand in legal education. On the other hand, the law colleges are not performing their part. So that is why, the situation has come. And I believe more than 500 colleges in future also will be, de-affiliated by Bar Council of India, and they will be shut down.
This is a very, very, very important and big news you're sharing with all of us. It's not about 5 and 10, but 500 colleges that will be de-affiliated. Let me take this point to Sudhir Mishra, Managing Partner of Trust Legal. Now, you run a law firm. A lot of people aspire to join law firms after passing out. And the stark reality is that most of them don't get the jobs. Very few law students manage to get those kind of law firm jobs. Can you share this whole issue with us, the court case? What are the observations of the judges? Also, what is the road ahead? Can you share all of this with us in your opening comment, Mr. Sudhir Mishra?
Thank you, Tarun. I'm very grateful for this discussion which you have initiated. I have passed out almost 23 years back actually, and one of the chambers where I was working is Geeta Luthra ma'am. She's sitting here. So law education is something which was not that dominant during my law school days. But with every passing year, the craze for the legal education, as Mr. Tiwari said, has increased manifold. What it has done actually, it has increased the intake in the legal profession. Today, you are talking about like what has been told before the Supreme Court. The best minds are deliberating before the Supreme Court. You have amicus in Vishwanathan, sir. You have the best possible bench which is hearing this matter. And what is the tragedy now? You have 1,500 law schools, out of which 500 are actually staring at closure. Another 500 are going to be under scrutiny. We just heard from the Bar Council member, whom we all respect for 20 years. He's not saying that anything will happen, but he's saying that, look, the standards are overall a problem. You know, what is actually happening? At the ground, it's all about the motivation. Since more and more law students are needed, the economy is booming. The more infrastructure will develop, the more economy will come, legal solutions will be needed, legal firms will benefit. All that is perfectly all right. But 80,000 to 1 lakh people entering profession every year is a large number. Now, from where they are coming, I'll just take one example to explain to you where is our legal education. I'm going to the first 500 law schools, not the last 500 law schools. The first 500 law school, if it is somewhere in National Capital Territory, a person spends 3 years there, coming from a Delhi University background, brilliant record in Delhi University, because in Delhi University, even when we did graduation, a lot of teaching used to happen. You had those teachers who will even come to your home on a Sunday and insist what you have done on their motorcycle or car, whatever they had. Now, here is a law school where this person goes with a very good graduation, very good schooling. Our schooling has no issue. Our graduation in Delhi University and few other universities has no issue. And in 3 years, he only gets illusion. I'm talking about the first 500 law school. Neither the teacher has the motivation to teach, neither the student is encouraged to think. There is not even a course about what is client handling after so many years. What is the elephant in the room called client actually looks like and how you will deal with that. Now these law students who are told that you will join the best law firm once you come out of it, right in the counseling session itself, after 3 years, they realize that they are not getting that offer. They are only getting offers where they'll be getting a training opportunity or joining a senior, where they have to really work a lot. Understand from the court's point of view, from where this exercise has happened. When you go before the court unprepared, unskilled, untrained, and absolutely far from reality, you are frustrated. The courts are worried that they are not getting assistance. The senior advocates and the law firms are thinking what is happening. So all of us are in a situation where we don't know where to begin. So you have to go to the motivation part. There are brilliant professors in law who have changed the course of the entire legal education. We had during our time, Professor M.P. Singh, Upen Bakshi, Professor P.K. Tripathi, whom we heard in a lecture. We realized that it was so stunning. We can only compare them with few of the lawyers who used to come and teach in the campus law center, Tarun. Those lawyers were so exceptional that without any effort, all the students will come at 8:30 in the morning to listen to that lecture. Now that zing factor has gone out of his studying. So what you do, once you finish law school, you are not able to join a quality chamber or a quality law firm. You go to these legal tech companies now, which will upgrade your skills, will tell you how to write again. What the law schools are doing then?
Point well taken, and very good point made by Sudhir Mishra, Managing Partner, Trust Legal. I'll go to Ma'am, Senior Advocate Geeta Luthra. Ma'am, if I'm not wrong, you got your degree from Cambridge University. You were in United Kingdom. You came to India, you started your practice. You've had a first-hand experience of what it means to be educated abroad in one of the best universities in the entire world. Now, there is this thousands and lakhs of students in India who look up to someone like you, that I would have a practice or do work like Ma'am Geeta Luthra. But when they land up in college and they realize that they're not being taught well, there is a certain disillusionment. Where do you think is the problem and what is the solution in your view?
So, of course, the first thing, as Mr. Tiwari said, is the quality of education and the very fact that we've allowed so many colleges to mushroom. This is inconceivable in any part of the world. Of course, there is always demand, but for that demand, you can't give an oversupply. You have to give a quality supply. We don't just induct doctors. We just don't induct engineers. Why are we producing lawyers as if they have to mushroom? Why are we agreeing to have substandard institutions as law colleges? And can you imagine the parents who, some of them sell their farms, they sell their houses. They think this child, and this is not about law education, it's about education overall. And you feel so sorry when you see that this person who is semi-literate or not doing so well wants to increase the status of his son or daughter and says, let me sell my house or let me sell something which is very valuable because my child will become something. And then they realize this is nothing. It's actually just a namesake. It's a shadow. And when they come into the real world, these poor children don't even know how to express themselves. They don't know how to come and put a point across. So obviously, it is at this point, the Bar Council should have stepped in initially when there was recognition. And now the corrective measure of derecognition is going to be something very important. Okay. Now, you go to all these institutions all over the world, you see that they are not even allowing increase in number of seats. With the increase in population, the seats are not increasing in the same ratio because they are trying. And while I am one with Mr. Tiwari on this entrance exam, but the fact is it is still too simple. Just let's compare the barrister exam or the solicitor exam in England, and let's compare this exam. How many of our students would clear that exam? We have to have, if we have to have world-class students and lawyers and training, we have to have that world-class education and an extremely high threshold of entrance into the legal profession. We are entering straight into the Supreme Court. Which country says you go straight into the Supreme Court, jump there and become a Supreme Court lawyer from one day of practice?
Yes.
That's a very telling comment from Senior Advocate Geeta Luthra. I'll go to Justice Ansari, sir, has served as Chief Justice of Patna High Court. Sir, you have an experience of serving in the Northeast, then in Patna, now as a very well-known arbitrator. You've heard the other learned panelists. Can you share your viewpoint with us and your experience over the years of new students, legal education, and then this matter which is just before the Supreme Court?
It's more or less the same. See, initially the Bar Council of India, sorry to say, allowed many of the law schools or law colleges to come up. It was the right time that they de-affiliate some of the colleges, and now we are told that almost 500 colleges are going to be de-recognized or de-affiliated. These colleges which have mushroomed do not have adequate library. They do not have the correct panel of or faculty. And the quality of the students which eventually pass is really very poor. In the sense that speaking English is not the only requirement, but even a coherent thinking is not there. They do not know, and in law, the basic issue is that you must have a coherent thinking, ability to analyze, which these students are not taught. And as Madam Luthra has said, and rightly so, that the quality of examination or the quality of test which are there for the barristers or solicitors, in comparison with them, the standard of test or examination in law schools in India is nothing. That is worrisome, because it's very tragic that a person spends maybe his whole life earning, or maybe whatever his forefather has saved, in order to educate his son or grandson and give him or her law education, and then they find that they are going nowhere. This is really, if I may call it's criminal really. And therefore, it is the right time for the Bar Council of India to devise ways and means to at least not only de-affiliate the colleges, but also look into those colleges which are really not fulfilling the requirement of law education.
Okay. Thank you so much for your input, Justice Ansari. I'll go to Advocate Murari Tiwari, Member Bar Council of Delhi. So I want to ask you two important things: lack of infrastructure in law colleges. The problem, there are absolutely no teachers to teach. Library, of course, you pointed out. But the other big problem is a lot of students are already enrolled into these colleges. So what is the view of the court as well as the Bar Council of Delhi? Court meaning the Supreme Court of India and the Bar Council of Delhi and the Bar Council of India, how to tackle this problem? Do you think it will be very difficult to do? It's not as easier to simply say switch off the colleges, because all of these students have already paid money. Where is the solution in your view?
Tarun, broadly, we can divide law colleges into two categories now. There are one category in which they are maintaining all facilities, like NLU Bangalore, and there are many NLU Delhi, and many law colleges are there. O.P. Jindal College is there. So, and at the same time, there are colleges in which basic facilities are not there. So we cannot compare two things together. But still, in colleges which are even in remote areas, they should maintain all professional requirements. The teachers must be competent and the facilities must be maintained. We cannot compare one institution to another one. And I agree with Justice Ansari that many colleges were allowed to operate. But the intention of the council might be that the law education should be provided to a common man also, even in remote areas, But subsequently, we found that professional standards are not being maintained. And at a very initial outset, I told that we have to look into the interest of the students who are already enrolled, like a student who is in first year. There are 5-year courses also. In case there is a student who is in second year, so what about the remaining 3 years? What about remaining 4 years? So Bar Council has to make some arrangement with some other colleges, or we have to create some arrangement. We cannot put the career of a law student at stake by closing the college. So there will be some formula by which these things will be regulated. So the students need not to worry about their future, that in case their college will be closed, then what will happen to them. We have to look into their career. And I believe, Tarun, that there will not be any effect on the students, existing students I'm talking about. But now, when I have also realized that the need has come to regulate these colleges, otherwise this education, legal education, will get a bad name. Even we belong to Bihar. In Bihar, there are many law colleges. We found that the basic facilities are not there. In other states as well. I had been, a student of Delhi University Campus Law Center, from where Sudhir, my younger brother, has also did his law. We realized that when you are being taught professional courses, even in a government college, and in case teachers are there, so you learn a lot. When we passed out from law faculty, we were having that confidence that we can go to any court and we can argue the matter. It's a professional course. It's not necessary that the student should, struggle in district court only, then he'll go to Supreme Court. In case you have an understanding of your professional knowledge, you can argue a matter even before the Supreme Court. Whenever I grant license, then I say that you can start your career from any court, in case you are possessing all legal knowledge. That is very important. So Tarun, we will look into it, that the future of the students, existing students in these colleges, would not be spoiled in any case. And there will be some parameter how to accommodate them in which colleges. But reforms are required, and I think it should be done. There are, delays on these parts, but it will be done. I believe that Bar Council has taken a decision, and it's a good decision.
Okay. Thank you for the telling comment. And we can, with this, we draw to a close the part 1 of our series on the closure of 500 law colleges, as is being discussed currently. One very important point that Advocate Murari Tiwari, member Bar Council of Delhi, shared with all of us was that the initial intention was that law education should go to even tribal and poor areas. Everybody should be empowered. I would take the inference that his intention was that not necessarily these people practice law, but they should be aware of their law. Many people would do law just to be, in a sense, know how their country is governed. And it helps in businesses also when you know law. We would take it that the intention was that, but now with the falling professional standard, it is in a way right that the Supreme Court of India, the Bar Council of India, the Bar Council of Delhi, they are all worried. But one good thing that came out is also Mr. Tiwari shared with us that the existing students who are studying would not be disturbed. How that will be done, we will discuss in the next episode. But I would like to thank Mr. Murari Tiwari, member Bar Council of Delhi, Justice Iqbal Ahmed Ansari, who served as Chief Justice of Patna, Senior Advocate Geeta Luthra, and Sudhir Mishra, Managing Partner of Trust Legal. Thank you for joining us and appreciate your time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.